This week on Music Worth Buying, we're going to be taking a closer look at some new reissues of note, including Peter Frampton's Now.
And Bad Company.
Hello everybody, and welcome to Music Worth Buying. My name is Robert Kinsler, and I'm a music writer and a musician.
And my name is TJR. I'm a musician and a music writer.
And
what do you think of that?
I think that is awesome.
Thank you.
I think that is great, and,
okay.
And I'm glad to know that too.
Good,
so,
good.
I'm going to kick things off with Peter Frampton and his 1993 album Now, which has just been reissued as part of a trio of reissues from Omnivore Recordings of kind of long-lost Peter Frampton recordings. This album Now is the most recent of their albums. Actually, I think they've reissued one that came out originally in '86 and '89. And, you know, to the casual listener, I think if you ask them about Peter Frampton, they basically...
Show me the way.
Yeah, they know 1976.
That's all they know.
Yeah, Frampton Comes Alive, and that's it. You would think that this incredible singer-songwriter, guitar virtuoso had one album.
Yeah.
But actually, he started in the mid-'60s. I think he was 14, 15 years old with The Herd. And then he went on to a little bit of greater fame when he joined Steve Marriott and the band Humble Pie in 1969. And people may have heard on rock radio 30 Days in the Hole or something like that. They might know a little bit about Humble Pie. But obviously, he's pretty much known for one album.
Yeah.
And that's kind of tragic, especially when you get, you know, like, Now is an album that you were familiar with, but I was not. You know, and I just love this album.
This album completely took me for a surprise. Back when it came out and I heard it, I'll admit, not a Peter Frampton fan, okay? In fact, I don't even own Frampton Comes Alive. I'm one of the few people in America that does not own Frampton Comes Alive. I heard this album back when it came out and I was knocked out. I was blown away. I thought, wow, you know. And anyways, but I'll let you take it from there.
So actually, so now that we've kind of done our introduction, let's listen to a little bit of the first song on Now, and this one is called Verge of a Thing, and let's listen to a little bit of that one.
Yeah, it's awesome.
He ain't no wine or the dope that's stalking. He ain't just psychic on as a dream. No, I have been to the mountain and I have a dream. Baby, we're on the verge of a thing. I think in English, but my blood is Russian.
And it's all coming back to me. I mean, first of all, there's that incredibly just badass guitar riff at the opening. And like I said, you think of songs like Show Me the Way and Ooh Baby, I Love Your Way and all that.
Yeah.
It's like you wouldn't, you'd hear that opening riff, the last thing you'd probably think of is Peter Frampton, if that's all you know.
Yeah, that's all
the last thing you think of. And then that vocal comes in, very kind of cutting vocal. His vocal at the beginning, opening lines, reminds me a little bit of Don Henley, actually. A little bit, just me personally. But yeah, just a killer rock song.
Yeah.
Killer rock track.
And on this album, and this is 12th album into his career and stuff, I hear him, it sounds like he's almost saying that this is who I am, this is what music's important to me, I'm going to do it, and it's really powerful. I mean, we're not going to hear a little bit of here, but like he covers, George Harrison had just passed away not long before and they were friends, so he covered While My Guitar Gently Weeps. Just killer interpretation. His guitar playing you expect to be amazing. I mean, he's just
and it is.
It is amazing. But his vocal performance, what you're reminded of across this album is he is a good songwriter and he's a great singer too, I think.
And a great guitarist.
And a great guitarist,
And it is a killer rendition of While My Guitar Gently Weeps. It's extremely faithful to the original, but he just pushes it to a different level.
Yeah, he pushes it in different places.
And just adds some amazing guitar playing at the end of it. And it's a great rendition.
It's a great rendition. I mean, it's one of those ones you can't just play it one time. When you play it, chances are you're going to hit replay after you get to the end. It just makes you just say, wow, it blows you away. But now this new reissue, and you might know because you have the original one, but it comes in a standard jewel case, but a very nice booklet, very beautiful photographs. You can see front and back. And just, it has some basic information here. As I recall, it doesn't have the lyrics, which maybe would have been nice to include that. Yeah. But just, it is very artistic. Talks about who's on it, in the tracks and stuff. And then who wrote the songs with him on them. In the case of While My Gently Weeps, it was a George Harrison song, but the co-writers he had. Yeah. And it's, but it is a very nice package, and I think of principal importance here is that the album is available again, and it sounds great.
It's good that it's available again, and it's such an overlooked rock album. It's just so sadly overlooked that I'm glad we can talk about it here. I'm glad you brought it on the show. I had no idea you were going to bring it on
because
we were going to talk about doing reissues. I had no idea you were going to.
Because this album, Peter Frampton has had a full-on renaissance. I think it was his album after this one, the instrumental one where he won a Grammy. I want to say it was called Fingerprints. The one, and that was right after this. And I think that one kind of catapulted him back to where he belongs to be as like this major artist that should be known beyond his one live album from '76. But I think this set the groundwork kind of for where he was going to go. Like, hey, he'd been at it a while. He probably said, look, I'm just going to go out there with guns blazing and be who I am. And this next song that we're going to hear, speaking of instrumental, is called Greens, and it's beautiful, and it's really kind of genre defying, almost in its scope and stuff. And maybe before we move on, let's close out. Let's listen to a little bit of Greens, because I really like this.
That is a beautiful guitar instrumental. Just a great guitar instrumental.
Isn't it? It's just terrific. And it was actually co-written by Bob Mayo, who was his keyboardist in the Frampton Comes Alive era band. And he brought him back into the fold. And this album, I know I said it was his 12th album, but it was actually the longest, came on the wake of the longest gap he's ever had between albums. So obviously I think some things, he probably had some time to really contemplate what he wanted to do, where he wanted to go as a musician and a songwriter and stuff. Whatever the forces that are, it resulted in a brilliant album.
Yeah, there was no bad tracks on that album. It was solid from start to finish. An incredibly just underappreciated rock album, one that didn't get a whole lot of notice. And hopefully it will get a little more notice. So
let's hope. I hope so. Now, what did you bring in today? Speaking about great reissues, like we are.
I'm surprised you're not bringing this one in. Actually, I'm a little disappointed.
Okay, oops.
No, I'm just kidding. But actually, I'm surprised you're not bringing this one in. And you, of course, have been a Bad Company fan for a long time. I have not been a Bad Company fan, so to speak. I like the hits. I know I'm a casual fan. I know the hits. You know the albums. You've been a much stronger fan. You've talked about them in the past.
Straight
on the
Shooter,
show.
I think I brought on the show.
Yeah, you've talked about. You brought in one of those 24 karat, remasterings
exactly.
on the show back on our old channel. And so these new reissues just came out here. Reissues have been done of the first two albums. I'm holding up the very first one, the self-titled Bad Company album, and I decided, okay, I've heard Robert talk about it enough. I'm going to get on board here and just check out the albums. And so I am not comparing the audio quality to previous releases. I assume it's it sounds good to me. It doesn't feel like at least it's not an over-compressed remaster. I can't say how much better does it sound from previous releases, how much better does it sound from that 24 karat release you have. I can't really say, but I can say if you're like me and you've never gotten on board with the albums, now is the time, at least for these first two. These are two really great reissues. I'm holding up the first album right here. And I think what I liked, of course, the album speaks for itself. It stood the test of time. This is my first time listening to the album from front to back. I was familiar with the hits, had heard some of the other songs. But yeah, the album definitely holds up. I don't think I can say too much about the album itself. What I will say is that it's a 2-disc set, and the second disc is well worth it. It comes with alternate takes. It comes with B-sides to the singles that were released, that were the hits. It's the B-sides. It comes with, like I already said, alternate takes, alternate versions, alternate mixes, demos. It's a treasure trove. If you're already a fan, this is a treasure trove. And for me, it's great to listen to this stuff too. And compare the demos to the final versions. It's great for me to hear these too. And I'll talk about the packaging in a moment. First, I'm going to play one of those B-sides. I don't know if you've ever heard this before, so we'll check this out. Here we go.
Some say love is, some say what is love, some say is love really all around me,
Now that song, for the benefit of myself and the audience, is "Easy on My Soul." I had not heard that before, which, the second Paul Rogers starts singing, you're going, okay, that's Paul Rogers, it must be Bad Company, but it's great, and I love the kind of funk soul guitar part, and just what a great song. I mean,
that little guitar lick almost feels like a keyboard part.
Yeah.
It almost feels like a keyboard part.
Yeah.
And if you weren't listening real carefully, you might mistake it for a keyboard part. This now, of course, probably the reason why you haven't heard it, it was a B-side to one of the hit singles, and so unless you had that 45, that was the only way you heard it.
And back at that time, like I said, I came to Bad Company later, probably after their initial run, more like in the 80s and stuff. But I like you, I heard primarily the hits, and then over time I've heard some of their deeper material when I got the albums and stuff. But yeah, great song.
Yeah, and it's as good as any of the the songs on the album. As good as any of the songs on the album, and that's what I like about this. I mean, it does conclude pretty much with pretty much every track is unreleased, with the exception of the 2 B-sides from the 2 singles off the album, and then there is also a radio edit version of "Can't Get Enough," the hit single "Can't Get Enough." Which is great if you grew up with the radio version as a kid. If you grew up hearing that on the radio, you get to hear that radio edit version as well. Of course, you get the album version 2 on disc 1.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's all unreleased material. And even though, like I said, I'm new to this here for the most part, I know the hits, but mostly new with this album. I get to hear the album, listen to it, and then being able to listen to the demos, the working versions, and is just a cool thing for me. And I'm sure it's even cooler if you've been a longtime fan, with this album. Now, packaging wise, this comes in a 4 fold out here digipack. Of course, there's the 2 discs, and underneath these discs, and of course here you see recording notes from the actual recording sessions, and that's what you see under the disc 2 when you open it up.
If we flip like here, we'll get a little reflection there. You can see it better.
And there's, of course, now here we have, of course, some memorabilia art from. This is like a poster, and this is actually, I think, this is art from one of the singles. And inside you get more memorabilia art. Of course, you get all the original album photos and art. But you also get, once again, single art from the release of the singles. There's just lots of memorabilia here.
That is very nice.
A lot of cool
nice
memorabilia
package.
photos. Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's also something. Now, this was a co-release from Swan Song, which was the Led Zeppelin's label.
Led Zeppelin's
this was
label.
the first band they signed, and of course Rhino Records. And one of the things that I complained about with the Led Zeppelin reissues is you got these booklets with lots of new photos you'd never seen before, and all the original album photos. But you didn't get any text at all. No historical background. And so what I do like about this is that with the text here, you do get some historical background, historical essays, and I really do appreciate that especially as well. So very nicely done on the package here. It's great for longtime fans, great for someone new like me. So nice package. And I recommend both the reissues, both this one and Straight Shooter.
And one thing I want to say, a little bit of a side note, not name dropping, but I've got to interview Paul Rogers, and subsequently I got to meet him. And of all the huge acts I've met, I don't think anybody's as nice as. I mean, it's just amazing how down to earth he is. What a great talent. I mean, whether he was singing with Bad Company or The Firm or with Queen or a solo career, this guy is just and he still sounds fantastic, and it's so great to see that, because he explained to me that, Bad Company was a band that he put together, after Free and stuff, and he kind of hold himself away, got together the right group of guys, and obviously he knew what he was doing, because like you said, these albums stand the test of time.
They certainly do. Absolutely. Okay, well, cool. And I'm just going to play that one track. I'm not going to play anything else because, like I said, we know this album. People have not heard this Peter Frampton album. Most people have heard this album. We know the hits, and so just that gives you a little taste of some of the bonuses on it. And so thanks for bringing that in, and
thanks for bringing Bad Company. And I'm going to be running out to buy this one too.
Shame
long overdue. I know
yet.
Exactly.
But hopefully we're going to do some more reissue shows. There's been quite a few good reissues we want to talk about, and do some more reissue shows as well. And so we want to thank you very much for subscribing and for sharing the show with your friends on social media. And till next time, my name is TJR. Check my music out at tjrmusic.com. Send me an email. I'll send you a link for some free MP3s. And check out my reviews here at the channel.
And my name's Robert Kinsler, and of course you can read my work at ocregister.com, at musicworthbuying.com, musicnewsnashville.com, and desertstarweekly.com.
Absolutely. Oh, and also join me on my YouTube channel, my personal YouTube musician channel, TJR, youtube.com/TJR, the original. Yeah, I know it's long. I should have thought of something easier, but oh well. I'm stuck
Needed
with
a catchphrase or something.
now. Stuck with it now. Can't really change. So anyways, though, but I'll have a link here that'll make it easier to get there. So thank you so much for watching. We appreciate it. Take care, everybody.
See you later, everybody.
Bye.